Hey guys, I hope you guys are well and taking care of yourselves. Welcome to another video. I hope my legs aren't showing because anyway, today I'll be doing interview questions. So I wanted to do a to talk about young famous African, but that video I'm not so sure if I'm gonna post it or not, honestly. So I wanted to talk about interview questions and answers. I feel like I've attended a lot of interviews, but I'm not gonna make this too long. And also like different interviews for maybe call center jobs, restaurant like waiter waitress jobs, government jobs. Like I've had different interviews. But I'm just mainly focusing on the general questions that are asked throughout. So it's not specific to any job category. It's not specific to any job. Yeah, I don't know if to say category, guys. Anyway, let's start. So interview questions. I wrote down a few questions and how I usually answer them. So I'm just gonna be letting you guys know how I usually answer them, because honestly it depends on you and how you answer it, but this is just to give you an idea on how to answer the questions. So what I usually say now when they say tell me about yourself, like what I usually say or what people suggest that you should say is that don't talk about your background, talk about where you were raised and all of that. But I like to do this as a not an icebreaker, but like as a way to like calm my nerves. So I know they already know my name and my age is on my CV and my location is on my CV, but just to calm me down and to get me in the flow of things, I usually start by saying my name is Claudia Satanabama and I'm 28 years of age. I currently reside in this city, and I'd like to think I'm an honest and reliable person. I've worked as a call center agent. I've worked as a customer care call center agent, where I did bookings, online bookings, where I assisted customers with their online bookings. And then now I'm trying to think what I usually say. And also I've worked as a shopper. So I have a lot of experience. So you're gonna say your experience, that is most of the time you don't have to include your entire experience or the experiences that you have or all of the jobs that you've worked in. You don't have to include everything. Even in your CV you don't have to include everything. You just have to make it like the experience that relates to what you're applying for. The experience that relates to what you're applying for or aligns with what you're applying for. So when I apply for call center jobs, I put my call center experience, but that's the experience I mostly have, so I mostly put it on my CVs as well, on most of my applications. So and then if I have like a waiter or waitress job, I'll put in my experience as a runner, because I've once worked as a runner at Galata Restaurant and Bakery in Randburg, so I put that. And then if maybe I'm doing events, because I've also done events, worked at events, worked as a dresser. So if maybe I apply for not necessarily model jobs, but yeah, things that are related to that, then I put that experience. And then I know this is not about CV, it's about tell me about yourself. So if I go for a call center agent job, I'd probably start telling them about myself, say my name, my location, my age, because it calms me down and it gets me in the flow of things, and say what kind of person I am. And then you don't necessarily have to say what kind of person you are, but they're asking you to tell them about yourself, and then just list down your experience that aligns with the job. And yeah, and then the question that is also frequently asked besides tell me about yourself is strengths and weaknesses. Now I had watched a video on YouTube, just gonna quickly look for it. I watched a video on YouTube and it was Don, I think I'm gonna put the name of the YouTube, Don Bunny, but it's Don Lock. Yeah, say when you say your strengths and weaknesses, when they ask about your weaknesses, don't say you don't have any weaknesses, because everybody has weaknesses. And like don't say you're a workaholic or perfectionist, because I feel like people say that they're workaholic or perfectionist, they do too much, or they can't say no. Like no, I always say like I can't say no, so I just tend to like say yes more. Like I struggle with saying no. I like saying that's my weakness. I struggle to say no, and I say self-doubt is my weakness, but I'm no longer, I feel like I'm no longer going to say self-doubt is my weakness. Don Luke was like, say something that's a skill, maybe that your weakness. For instance, maybe saying you're a shy person or you're introverted. You're gonna say that you're introverted, and sometimes you're afraid to raise your opinion in a group of people. So maybe it's team meetings or whatever, and then you're afraid to voice out your opinion, and that's something you're working on. Like you're working towards, you're trying to speak up and all of that. Like it's something you're working on. Let them know that it's something you're working on and it's something that can be fixed. Don't necessarily say something that is your personality. Is being an introvert a personality? Because your personality is just who you are, and maybe you might not be able to change that. That's what he said. And yeah, I totally get that. I think you should check his video out. Also, what I wanted to say, what else did I want to say? Okay, his strengths. My strengths, I feel like I always say my strengths, like I say I'm responsible, respectable, which I feel like you shouldn't say any of those things. Like you're responsible, you're respectful, you what do you usually say, guys, when you your strengths? I know you clicked on this video wanting interview questions and answers, but honestly, what do you say when they ask you what are your strengths? Because mostly we think of weaknesses and all of that. But I also wrote down now, when I say what am I, let me quickly look for this so that I don't talk too much. There's somewhere where I wrote down my weaknesses and my strengths. Why can't I even, oh here it is. I was like, I have a good eye, so I pay attention to detail. I don't know whether that can be a strength, but I pay attention to detail. And yeah, I'm persistent. I said I usually say this as my strength. I'm like, I'm persistent to an extent, because you don't want to be persistent and like maybe when it comes to making a sale, for example, in a call center environment, making a sale, you're going to be persistent with the customer that keeps on saying they're not interested. I'm persistent to an extent. If a customer says they're not interested more than 3 times, I don't even let them. After the 3rd time, then I know they are really not interested. I'm not going to be persistent and keep on pursuing that customer for a sale. And then I say I'm resilient. I don't know whether this in the working environment, like I'm resilient, I can able to, or I'm adaptable. I'm easily adaptable. Like I've lived in different environments, so I'm easily adaptable. I say that's my strength. I'm able to adapt easily to different environments with different people. So when I get into a new working environment, I'm able to easily adapt, even though maybe I don't adapt necessarily with the people, but I'm able to easily adapt with the environment and be able to do my job and all of that. That's what I say. And then I'm always willing to learn. I put that as a strength. I don't know if you can put that as a strength, but I always say I'm always willing to learn, because people, like, when you're always willing to learn and you're always willing to acquire new skills and new knowledge, that means you're a great candidate. You are going to be teachable, you're going to be coachable. And yeah, and then my weaknesses, I always say I struggle. I tend to doubt myself. I struggle to say no. I'm so much of a nice person. Okay, I don't know about that one, but yeah, I am a nice person. I panic quite a lot, and then I struggle with discipline. But I feel like moving on forward, I'm no longer going to say self-doubt. I'm no longer going to put that as my weakness. I'm just not going to talk about self-doubt, but it is something that I'm constantly working on. But I feel like I'm just not going to talk about that, because if you're not confident in who you are and what you do, employers, I think, are going to be is it skeptical? What's this? Bazongabaza. You don't ngabaza in Zulu. Like, I feel like I'm even saying wrong in Zulu. They're gonna doubt you as well, but are you gonna be capable of doing the work? If you doubt yourself, then how should they trust you that you're gonna be able to or capable to do the work? Okay. And then I also wrote down other questions as well. What are your hobbies and interests? But this is, and they don't usually ask about hobbies and interests, but you should get, if I feel like this is honestly an easy one. Any interview is an easy. Don't say how come you don't pass your interviews, but I feel like when you know your experience and you know how to word, and your English is like, you know English basically, and you know how to articulate yourself. Sometimes the struggle comes when you like me. Sometimes I can't put something into a proper constructed sentence because my English is good, but it's not that, it's not. What do they have those? There's beginner, but I'm not a beginner. Anyway, what was I saying again? You see, I talk too much. Okay, hobbies and interests, but I feel like I got that one, guys. You can answer it. And then, what would you bring to the company? What value would you bring to the company? Now, this one I don't know how would I answer. I also ask what value would I bring to the company, but I feel like you should summarize your skills and the skills that you've acquired, and say those skills are gonna enable you to do your job as best as you can, or to the best of your ability. And that's the value you'll be bringing, and the knowledge you've gained throughout the years with your experience, that's the value you'll be bringing to the company. Honestly, this one, I don't know, just comment down below how would you answer. If someone asks you what value do you bring to the company, how would you answer that question? And also, why do you want to work for our company? Why do you want to work for company X? Because you need a job. Please don't say it's because you're unemployed and you need a job, even though that's the real reason. Like, duh, I need money, I need a job. But maybe say your values and your values align with the company, and your interests or your ethics, or you're interested in taking a career path with this certain company because it specializes in certain departments, it specializes with certain I don't know, guys. Yeah, patanisa, when you answer these questions, you patanisa. And I feel like the other questions, because I had other questions, I recently had there was an online interview, but it's not necessarily, it's just questions that are, it's what do they call it? I'm gonna put the name on the screen. But I also had this with Mr. Price Careers, where they do like the online interview, and then so you record yourself. They ask a question, then you record yourself, replying to the questions. So they also had questions like, it was relatable as a waitressing job, so maybe I can do that. But I was like, since I'm doing general interview questions and answers, let me not include those questions in this video. But yeah, guys, I hope I didn't prepare well for this video. I was just like, let me shoot something. So I don't know whether I'm gonna upload it or not, but hopefully I'll upload it, and let me know how do you answer these type of questions, interview questions. Like, if you experienced with interviews, how do you answer these type of questions? I feel like I'm more comfortable, obviously, when the interview is online compared to in person. Because in person, I panic quite a lot, but sometimes I calm down. It's just that, I don't know, or my brain just functions even more slower when a person is staring at me and I have to give an answer. And it's like, yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe.